And, well, as I completely screw up the player reveal, that has triggered a certain person to really desire his throne back. Let me just put it that way. It would have been a little bit more dramatic if I hadn't screwed up the reveal on screen, but trust me, because we have a blinder of a matchup right now. The current well, I would say not reigning, but the longest running King of the Hill here in this tournament, SKT1 Innovation, is here to take his throne back.
This is one of those moments where I get all giddy, you know? Like, I'm so glad you brought me on, because, like, so far it's only been Terrans in these matchups, but also you're bringing on, like, the best Terrans, seemingly of all time. Like, oh god. Okay, this is super good, because Bjorn is... In fact, there's so many thoughts flowing through my head right now, I can't even get the words out. But Innovation for a long time kind of was the perfect Terran, right? Like, he wasn't innovative at all, which meant his name was kind of ironic. But he was just, like, perfect at what he did, like a pure macro monster. Whereas Bjorn's kind of turned into that perfect Terran, like the pure macro, pure micro monster. Very good micro, very clinical, and just plays a perfect game. Whereas Innovation actually has started innovating an awful lot with all these Cyclone builds. Like, he's kind of living up to his name a little bit, but these are two of the absolute best Terrans we have right now going up against each other. I'm super stoked.
Absolutely. You don't get to see Innovation... I mean, people haven't really seen much of Innovation over the last couple of months because, of course, he had a fairly spectacular bombing out of the GSL and the SSL, which is unexpected considering the level of skill that Innovation has been able to put on display, but he's been tearing it up here in this tournament. He has the current streak lead at 10 games. Incidentally, Benny, just need to switch on over. Right, cool, we'll be starting the matchup momentarily. But he wants his throne back, man. He is upset. He lost to the first Korean Protoss that he fought, actually, in the second tournament. He lost to Hurricane. He's been sitting out ever since, plotting his revenge, and now Bjorn is threatening his streak, and that's not okay. He's gonna come in and try and put down the impetuous whelp. But I don't know if he's got the skill to do it. Bjorn is on a tear. Bjorn's TVT is really solid, but so is Innovations. I think this is going to be top tier one way or the other.
This is... You know, you've had Terrans that have came into... Like, they've flourished, right? Like, the Marus of the world. TY recently came up. But there's always one Terran that has seemingly been unstoppable in TVT, and that's Innovation. And, you know, I've seen him do these weird, like, 2-base Hellion Liberator builds and just smash Maru. I think he did that in your first ShoutCraft, actually, on King Sejong.
He did,
but,
yes. He got torn to pieces, no doubt.
Yeah, and this is when I hadn't seen Innovation for a while, so, you know, whenever that happens where you haven't seen a player for a while, it's like, oh yeah, that player's lost it, he's out of shape and stuff, but no, Innovation never lost it, dude.
No,
like,
no, he didn't, no.
He's always been an absolute monster, so I'm stoked. And, okay, Apotheosis, oh my god.
You need a minute.
Just intro them, TV, this is great.
I can handle this. This is going to be a TBT for the ages, ladies and gentlemen. The current reigning king. That might not be something I say again after this matchup. To the southeast position, the GSL champion in the red trunks playing Terran, it is Bjorn. Versus his opponent to the northwest position, the longest reigning ShoutCraft king of all time, with 10 wins under his belt. Some say he has no emotion. Some say he has no desire. Some say he is programmed only to win. In the blue trunks, playing Terran, SKT1 Innovation.
You know, I always felt very weird when people said, like, Innovation was very robotic. As if he had no brain and stuff when he played, but I feel that's because they didn't really understand what he was doing enough. Like, I actually do think he's an exceptionally smart player, and there've been Terrans with very different styles, such as, like, Maru. So, like, when Maru came on, he was kind of, okay, you've seen Top Gun, right?
A while ago, yes.
Okay, so Maru was kind of like the Maverick. Like, he was ballsy, he'd do crazy things, and it would seemingly work. But Innovation was always the Ice Man, you know? Like, Ice Cold, no mistakes.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
And I always felt that he was always very, very, very good in what he did. And I never felt he was really robotic at all. I just feel that he had his moment when he knew he was going to win or most likely to win. So And Terran's always worked in a way that you have your moments to attack and your moments to win. Like if it gets to a late game against Protoss, for example, Protoss are like their units are more supply efficient, such as the Tempest and stuff. So if he doesn't win before that happens, he doesn't really want to make it go to that stage in the game. So he'd always have these moments where he knew his best chances were right there, right then. So he'd stick on with his plan. But yeah, Innovation against Beyond. I honestly have no idea who is more favored in this matchup. Like, Innovation started mixing it up a lot and started relying a lot on Cyclones, seemingly, in a lot of his builds. So I'm super stoked to see what we see from both these guys. Like, what is the best thing to do in TVT right now?
That's a great question. It may be that these two guys define it at this point. With GSL done, with SSL done, what else is there other than BlizzCon to really define the top-tier competitive meta at this point? It's going to be the Kesper Cup, but right now, this is it. These are two of the top Terran in the world, and you're about to see exactly what they're capable of, and Beyond gets the Reaper as the second Reaper with the follow-up comes in, and Innovation does not get out of there in time.
But this is a totally different situation to what we saw reality in. Look, these Hellions are much earlier.
God, the
and
timing.
One Reaper for 2, yeah.
Impeccable.
So Innovation already shows like way more confidence in his play, and often in TVT, especially the Reaper, the initial Reaper duels, which, you know, it's like a knife fight kind of thing.
It is, yes.
We do see that Innovation comes out on top. His expansion was significantly faster, and Bjorn wanted to deal a little bit of damage with that. He got his second gas much earlier and delayed his expo in doing so. So we're going to see Innovation take a bit of an income lead, and even though it doesn't look that much different right now, he's going to have 2 mules flowing, so if you open up the income tab, he's got a significant lead for just a little bit of time, but already we see that he's going for this Cyclone. You know, he's cycloning it up, he's got no starport in sight, and we have a Cyclone also for Bjorn and a Liberator. The Liberator's obviously for pressure, Cyclone's for defense, but Innovation's poking at the front.
Absolutely, he's got the Hellions to do it. There's no reason not to. Bjorn has no real way to respond to this properly. We got Blue Flame on the way. I mean, I'm just excited to see this new Innovation, but Bjorn, of course, adding a Cyclone of his own to the mix. So this is going to be a little unconventional. As you said, defining the matchup right now.
Okay, there's a few things there that are very pivotal for Innovation. So what he saw, so he saw the Cyclone pop out, and that's when he had to run. But he also saw Marines, and he saw 2 Marines come out at a time. So he knows what add-ons are placed where. So he knows there's a reactor on the barracks, he knows there's a tech lab on the factory, he knows that his expo was later as well, so he knows it was a double gas, but he also knows that there has to be gas being spent elsewhere. Now, with 2 Cyclones on the field, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays very, very defensively with those, because there is something else on the map. There has to be, given that your opponent's expo was later. The gas has to be somewhere else. So is this third Cyclone going to stay at home? Is it going to be out in time to deal with this Liberator? That's a big deal for Bjorn kind of getting back into this game.
He needs to be. He's rallied it elsewhere, so we obviously didn't expect the Liberator to come in, and the Liberator gets in and starts to unload on the mineral line, and that Cyclone is going to have to come back. Blue Flame is done, which means Innovation does want to fight while he has that tech advantage, but the Cyclone coming back. He obviously didn't expect this. You know, he was thinking, but that's some damage done. Here we go. Blue Flame is in, and tanks don't even stand up against firepower of that magnitude. Innovation trying to do as much damage as possible, but economically hasn't really made it work yet. Takes some SCVs out, but the Liberator in the back has already done pretty significant damage. He's just a couple of good... Oh, they're lined up! Blue Flame shots are now able to really make the potential of that attack work, and Beyond values his tank evidently more than 12 SCVs.
Wow, well, if he lost the tank, he may have lost the
entire
SCVs
match.
eventually.
Yeah, you're totally right.
This is already a crazy hectic start. Like, Innovation could have potentially dealt with the Liberator a little bit better, like if his rally was correct there, or if he reacted in time, but he was obviously prioritizing dealing damage at the front. So, you know, these are little things that could definitely have swayed a little bit more in Innovation's favor, but look at supply. Innovation's way ahead right now. He's got a 10 SCV lead, he's got a decent army together, and he's still looking to put on pressure. Now going to be getting his starport, so Innovation's style is so weird. Like, I haven't really seen anybody play like this besides Innovation, but he makes it work.
Yeah, he is. He is absolutely making it work right now, and A long time ago, you might remember that Innovation was pretty much the Hellion king. He was playing an awful lot of Hellion and Hellbat-based builds, especially in Heart of the Swarm. He seems to favor it. It's just, I think that he hasn't really had the opportunity to make it work up until now, and he's now starting to perfect this new style of TBT that is throwing a lot of his opponents off.
Yeah, I'm also surprised that he chose to go for the Cyclone. Or in fact, I'm not surprised because he's seemingly doing it in every matchup now and making it work. But Cyclones and like Mech specifically on Apotheosis, like I talked about this in a previous series with Reality, but it's a very hard map to make Mech work. But he's gone for this very mobile Mech initially to try and get ground, it seems like, and dealing with this without having Stim ready or Marauders with Conquerors of
Oh, the barbecue! That was a huge mistake there by Bjorn to run right into that. Innovation springs the trap.
Oh, you know, like from Bjorn being the guy that's dictating the pace of pretty much every game in this Shoutcraft thus far, you can definitely tell that he is dealing with a different beast. And look at that, he's even killing the rocks here, so then he can go round and possibly... He's just denying the third, like mining time. Not taking any damage in doing so either, and now...
Incredibly smart.
Yeah, he's playing incredibly well. He even had this Hellion to stop the landing on that CC as well. Everything's just going in his favor, and he's been mining off of gold all this time as well. Perfect saturation on all his bases to boot. Oh, wow. Great play by Innovation.
In the mix now with Medivacs as well, so now he has even more mobility and potential in this army. Innovation playing super smart and knowing, of course, his opponent's going to move in that third, immediately starts to apply pressure to it. Says, you know what, I'm not going to let you have that for free. I'm locking on and unloading missiles, already taking the base down to about 60% health, threatening it, saying, look, you can't have this for free, but look what he's doing to the west. It's a Hellbat drop. It's heading to the natural.
Oh, you mean the east? Oh, wait, the west? Yeah,
there's both, actually. Yeah, I saw that one. You saw the other. He's hitting both sides, and there is no preparation on either side. The Hellbat drop into the main mineral line right here does 7 workers worth of damage. 8 workers now, and yet more besides. Beyond's not responding quickly enough. And, of course, in the meantime, as they run up the ramp, he hits the natural as well. Beyond completely unprepared for a devastating economic drop.
Ice cold, no mistakes, TotalBiscuit. And
18 SCVs, 21 SCVs. Good God. It's a massacre.
Oh my God. He's dealt so... Like, this is crippling damage.
It is.
And, like, as a bio player, you never want to be behind on SCVs against a mech player. Like, this is a terrible situation. Also, I want to point out, like, he's doing tank drops now to harass the third 2. So he flew them over in a single medevac, I believe, and then just sieged them up behind. Running away with 1 now. In fact, he's surviving with everything. He's getting his 4th up as well. He got the engineering bay to make a few turrets if needs be and get a PF going. But he also never got the Cyclone upgrade, like the magnetic or mag field accelerator, so he never chose to kind of make them a true unit in his army composition. And he's choosing this old school style. Remember HOT, where you saw tanks and Hellbat drops and all that jazz? Like, that's exactly what he's going for now.
And it's working. It's working to perfection. And Bjorn is thrown completely at this point. It's now forced to be aggressive. Oh, lovely catch there by Bjorn. Manages to get the double Hellbat drop in the process. But economically, Bjorn is bleeding badly. And Innovation has put us in a really safe spot now. We see him using double sensor tower, knowing, hey, what could I lose to right now? A surprise, you know? So let's make sure that surprises are impossible.
You know, I almost feel the sensor towers, because you can see those obviously through Fog of War as an opponent. I almost feel those are like the, oh bugger, he's got sensor towers, like he's that rich he can afford those, because each sensor tower is pretty much as expensive as a siege tank. So like the fact that you can throw those up, it's insane to be able to do so. And the fact that he's got 2, and the second one on the left also, it's placed in a position where you know that your opponent's got a 4th now.
Innovation's building a fusion core and adding a starport in there as well. And usually you would expect in this position that may be for Banshee speed. Although, considering the amount of money he's got, it could be for literally anything right now. What do you think?
I'm guessing Liberator range, actually. So, like, how do you beat on the ground, like, tanks and Liberator range? Like, one of the... in fact, it could be anything. Like, at this point in time, it could even be battle cruisers, but Liberator range is so good of an upgrade. He's got pretty damn decent defense at home, too. Like, he doesn't even need to go back home. Like,
No, he's got a couple of tanks and, you know, a line of Hellbats as well as missile turrets and sensor towers, you know. Beyond's not going to be able to surprise him. He's got a Doom Drop. This is a huge investment here. I have to wonder if this is going to work out at all. He takes tank shelling in the process. He's now trying to stream up down the center. There is a weakness in defense here for Innovation, and Beyond has managed to take some advantage of it, sacrificing half his army to deal huge damage to the gold base, and even Beyond has managed to smash the natural as well. Innovation... a weakness has been found, and Beyond is exploiting it.
I tell you what, this is really, really, really solid play. And Innovation even unseats his tanks at home in his natural, so supplies, Beyond's actually taking a bit of a lead here. This is one of the big weaknesses of Mech, but those Hellbats did spawn, took out a lot of Beyond's army in Innovation's main. And here, this is a lot of units. He's trying to flank these tanks with CVs, but they all get murdered, but...
They do, but a lot of tanks went down, and Innovation had also lost a huge amount of SCVs in the process of losing even more. Beyond is up into the main base. We're in a full-on base trade right now. Innovation brings in the rest of his Hellbats now, and we are in a full-on base trade situation at this point.
I think Beyond's done it. I don't know how. He's on the production. I think you're right. No more mech coming out.
No, and it can't either. You know, any attempt to do that. He's trying to get a Liberator out because there's so little on the ground, but the Starport is killed. Innovation just lost pretty much its entire economy, as did Beyond. Innovation's pulling back. He's realizing, I've got to stop this. If I lose all my production, that's it. I can actually lose this game. Beyond's insane Doom Drop, almost suicidal attack, found a weakness in Innovation's army as it was halfway across the map. The defense was not impeccable. There was a hole, and Inno's now having to back off to try and clean up, because if he doesn't, that's going to be it. Look at the army supply advantage. Innovation has a tiny army now. He lost most of it in that engagement. Basically, he's down to tanks and medevacs. That's it.
You know what's so sad about this for Innovation too? Like, if he just had more turrets, like he played more lame, he'd have been fine against these Doom Drops, and he like unsieged his tanks at his natural, which would have definitely helped clean up those that force that moved in on his gold base. And oh gosh,
this is still not over yet, because Beyond actually has no money. He's just mined out basically. He's now having to float another command center over to the gold. If Beyond loses this army, like, economically, there's not that many ways he can recover. Innovation is still mining, but Innovation's production, he has so little, and Beyond realizes it and goes right into the main to bypass the defense on the third base here and try and cripple the supply and the tech advantage here of his opponent.
You know, this is super smart, because one of the nastiest things for Innovation right now is going to be having to rebuild these depots, which... Beyond's taking them all out, he's taking out the armory, so there's no Thors, he also can't make any more Hellbats for now, or like even morph them, so he's remaking that armory very quickly, stopping upgrade potential. But where does Innovation really make all his buildings here? Because there's limited space outside the range of that PF.
Yeah.
And this is just becoming a more gnarly situation, and Beyond's back to mining on his gold.
Here comes the aggression, and Beyond's hitting those add-ons already, and losing add-ons at this stage is huge. The build time on that is massive. He loses the reactor and the tech lab. Not what you want at all. Innovation doesn't have much defense left. He's still in the game, but losing all his supply depots, as you said, is going to be a nightmare. And Beyond, while he was not mining, he now has access to the gold again and can re-expand pretty much freely. Innovation's still in it. And this drop-capable tank force is massive, but the amount of bio on the board here for Beyond, it's not untenable for Innovation, but it's going to be a ridiculously hard fight. And, you know, he only has this one base now. That's it, you know.
But look at this Viking count from Beyond. Like, he's managed to get these up together, and that's going to be a tank that's lost. So it's just a war of attrition now for Beyond, and he's winning by numbers. He's got 2 decent bio squads on the map. Even though their forces aren't big, he can expand like a madman if he wants to. He's even floating his natural over to another base here.
Absolutely.
Still mining from the gold. Liberator's coming out for Beyond too, and honestly, how does Innovation deal with Liberators? He's only got tanks.
Beyond thinks he can kill him right now, and he may very well be right. I mean, the walls are amazing, but the tanks got caught off. GG! Beyond does it! The maniac. The suicidal maniac, after being dominated for 75% of the game, finds the one weakness and says, we're going for it. We're doing it live. And Innovation crumbles. That's an upset win, as far as I'm concerned. Considering how that game was going, that is a huge upset.
everything went right for Innovation, like besides the Liberator, but that wasn't enough to kind of like even the score. Innovation was so far ahead. He had a superior economy, he had a superior army, but he just got caught. He got caught. There was a Doom drop into the natural. Like, that was the start of everything going wrong.
And he didn't respond all that fast to that. Bear in mind, of course, most of his army was across the map at that point.
Yeah, and like he saw everything with the sensor towers too. It's just maybe he didn't leave enough of an army at home. There definitely weren't enough turrets.
Yes.
Once you get to a 4-base situation as Terran, it's kind of all about gas, right? Like your minerals going to Hellions, and yeah, some tanks, some Thors, what have you, some medevacs, but the main chunk of your minerals should go into turrets at that point on, because you're maxed, you can't produce any more units, and he just didn't play lame enough, honestly. Like, yeah. I really think that's what it comes down to.
He was too innovative.
Too innovative for his own good. It's kind of funny that Innovation became this innovative player, though.
It is, because he certainly was not known for that initially. No doubt about that. He played a very standard style, and I think that's where the reputation for being a robotic player came from.
Yeah, I mean, like when he changed his name from Bogus to Innovation, and then he just wasn't innovative.
No.
It was kind of like, oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, he was playing what everyone else was playing at that point, which was Hellbats. Hellbats. It's just because it worked very, very well at the start of Heart of the Swarm.
And he just did it better than everybody else. It wasn't as if he did something new. He just did it better. Like, so it was, his name, Innovation, his name should have been, like, Perfect Man, like, at the time, or something, more apt to, like, how he played. And, like, the fact that people always called him a robot and stuff was... Yeah, I guess that made sense, just because he was as good as a robot, I suppose, but...
It wasn't an insult by any means.
No,
it was just perhaps a misapplied analogy. Now, the question is, who could bring down Beyond now? I'm starting to run out of ideas, because Innovation was supposed to be the spoiler. Nope, apparently not. Beyond has every intention of hanging on to his throne right now, and of course, is now on track to potentially beat Innovation's streak. He's now at 6 wins against top players, and he is looking almost unstoppable. There is a person who is willing to stand in his way, however. It is the one and only Patience.
That's honestly a pretty damn decent pick. Like, a couple of years ago, if you said Patience was going to beat one of the absolute best Terrans in the world, I'd have kind of scoffed. But recently, Patience has been... Even though you see his unit control sometimes, you're like, damn, Patience, why are you making these mistakes? But then you look at the supplies, and he's like, well, you actually do have a huge supply lead. Like, he always seems to prioritize the right things. Like, and it's not necessarily always micro in StarCraft, so Patience is a damn good pick.
Yeah, his recent form has been phenomenal. Recent win, very recent win, 2-0 against Innovation, 2-0 against SOS. Not messing around by any stretch of the imagination. A player that was considered, like, always good but never great. His recent form has been, historically, by far his strongest of all time. So, Patience is in a great position to potentially take this out. But we are talking about Beyond. Beyond's TVP lately has been just god tier. Is Patience going to be able to deal with that? Well, that's a great question. We're about to find out. King Zhejiang Station will be the venue as to when we discover whether Patience will be the one to dethrone Beyond at this point, who is on an absolute tear and is really now in his comfort zone. That is dangerous for Beyond. That is absolutely not a player you want to find warmed up and ready.
No, and I mean, it's not as if he's lacking confidence right now either. He's on a six-map win streak against some of the best players in the world, so... And it's King Zhejiang, which isn't exactly a bad map against Protoss either.
No, it absolutely is not. This is going to be interesting. We have seen some excellent Protoss play in this tournament so far, but Beyond is, well, one, posting the shit emoji, which I wasn't even aware that was actually in StarCraft 2, and I think that Blizzard has a lot to answer for when it comes to that. But secondly, it just seems almost unstoppable against Protoss. So we're going to see whether or not he can manage it. The current reigning king, ladies and gentlemen, GSL champion, 6 maps in a row. To the northwest position on King Zhejiang, in the blue trunks, playing Terran, it's Beyond. Versus his opponent to the southeast position, in the red trunks, playing Protoss from Team of Freak of Freaks, it is Patience.
I was letting that resonate for a little bit before I chimed in. So, TVP, seen Hurricane go up against Beyond so far, and Hurricane actually gave it a good shot. Like, we saw nice transitions and stuff, but I haven't really seen Hurricane too much elsewhere. But Patience has been very, very, very good recently. Like, it's the absolute best I've seen him, like you pointed out. And often, I think these two are practice partners, actually. Like, I've even seen these two go at it on stream, like, multiple games in a row. They're always talking and laughing and giggling together. But, yeah, this should definitely be a close game between these two. Unfortunately, or fortunately, unfortunately, depends how you want to look at it, but I have seen Beyond kind of manhandle Patience the last few times I've seen them play, though. Mind you, that's only on stream, so maybe Patience was saving something. But yeah, to talk about how well Patience has been doing, is it top 4 at SSL?
Yeah, I believe so.
Like,
very impressive performance against the world's best.
That's incredible.
He 2-0'd SOS in a PvP. Like that, there's not many people that can really say that.
Certainly. I mean, just to get to top 4 SSL, there's a lot of people you have to beat,
Yes.
And a lot of good people, and they're all obviously trying their hardest. And then, I can't remember who was in the final. It was Dark against... Oh, Solar. So he lost to either Dark or Solar, which, that's no shame at all. They're both monsters. But, yeah.
Oh, what a catch! Patience with the pylon in the perfect position, and the overcharge kills the Reaper in 2 shots just as the Mothership Core pops out. I mean, that seemed planned almost.
Oh.
It was so perfect.
You know what can happen now? Like a pylon rush. Except, is he going to bring this probe along? No, it doesn't look like it. So, he actually knows that he doesn't need to defend at all against anything else from the Terran. So, he's just going to choose to be aggressive. And I think this is a nice move. Like, what we have out right now, that's 2 Marines. You need 3 Marines to deal with a Mothership Core. You also need more than 2 Marines to deal with an Adept. So, this could deal a little bit of a poke. I mean, the main thing that this wants to do right now is just see what units pop out and when.
Yeah, it's going to gain a lot of information, and it's a fairly low-risk maneuver. He actually decides to go in there, and I don't really blame him. And of course, now he's fighting against 4 Marines. He's going to have to get out of there. He doesn't want to lose the Adept, but great control so far here from Patience.
I mean, that's fine. If we go by the rule that you need at least 3 Marines to deal with a Mothership Core, which... Look, he's just going to dodge that Widow Mine and...
Yeah, he gets out of the way. And there's a second Adept coming to back this up as well. So this is already a lot of pressure being applied very early on.
Uh-oh, now he's overstayed. Oh, okay.
He's going to have to... Yeah, he's going to have to recall out of there. He does get out.
Yeah, and the Adept's still alive too. And it deals a little bit of damage to this Widow Mine. Oh, is he going to...
Oh, no. He's going to... Oh! That line of sight. He just dodges around out of the way. Precision
what's
play.
Beautiful about this though, he got to see that it's a Widow Mine drop, and he also got to kind of mess around with Beyond. Like this depot is late too, so he's going to be supply blocked, and that's a cooldown supply, so that's 1 less mule. So this actually did quite a bit of damage, even though he had to use a recall, which he won't have a photon overcharge for this drop, which sucks, but he gets to know that it's coming anyway, so he should have had units in position, but...
Well, he doesn't have any. That's the problem. He has 1 Adept, which is across the map. The problem is he was caught building his gateways. Like, he was only running off 1 gateway this entire time, so that recall may very well have been a lot more costly, and the Mothership Core goes down. Oh, no, and suddenly things turn around. Oh, there's a barrel of probes right there. That Widow Mine is looking to detonate. Oh, no, 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 no! That could have been way, way worse. But honestly, Beyond just responded with a killer counterattack.
This is so
the recall.
To see happen.
That's crazy. Was it literally the recall that did it? If he hadn't used that recall, if he hadn't had to use that recall, he would have been able to defend this, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, you get 1 pylon overcharge down, you deal damage to whatever you can, like... And he's got multiple pylons around here. It's not as if he was lacking... Oh, no, this probe. I mean, this Widow Mine. Oh! Okay.
Doesn't take too much damage. Could have been a lot worse.
He could have targeted one of the Stalkers, which would have killed a Stalker, but also killed the other low-health Stalker.
Oh, bloody hell. The Liberator's in position now as well. There's not enough Stalkers to take that out as of yet. How does Beyond find these openings? We just don't know, but 17 probes killed. I mean, for God's sake, he's hitting the back as well now, and he kills another Stalker. He's focusing yet another one down. Beyond's Marines just kill Protoss. It's almost like his Marines have plus damage to shields. It's unbelievable. 22 workers killed. The economy of the Protoss is in tatters right now.
And look at this Liberator, it's still stood there, 69 supply, and Beyond's even making tanks behind this because he got to see that it was like 4 gates in the main, so he's very under the assumption that he's going to be counter-pressured, which, given the amount of damage that he's done, he would be, but he's so far ahead at this point in time.
Economically,
oh man,
it can't be done, right?
No. Like that's how I feel. Like it can't be done. But you're right about the mothership. Like it did outstay its welcome. Like once he did. Oh, and the warp prism takes damage too from that Widow Mine.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
This is so stressful if you're a Patience fan because everything went wrong. But if he just did the little bit of damage like the poke that he did with the mothership core and then ran back with it rather than recalling back, he would have been in much better shape. Yeah.
Yeah, that pylon overcharge would have done it. It really did make the difference. So we initially at that point thought, will that really matter? Pylon overcharge relatively cheap, but it did. You know, Beyond's counterattack was perfectly timed. I think he probably recognized the fact that the mothership had to recall and assumed that there would be no overcharge. And these Blink Stalkers get trapped and some damage is done. Oh, it takes some bad fire on the way out. The tank gets another salvo right into the center of it. That economic harass was probably not worth the cost. Right now, it looks like Patience is trying to pin Beyond in place while DT Tech or Archons are brought into play. You know, a surprise. Something that's kind of a bit of a Hail Mary, but with a Warp Prism in play, it is possible that damage could be done. There are actually no missile turrets in play at the moment.
No, certainly, and if you keep this pressure on, there won't be either.
Yes.
At least not in the mineral lines and places where you want them.
Prism.
Like, Patience is really going for the, hey, I'm going to protect... Oh my did you
God,
see
he
that?
lost it. I did. Yep, he lost it. He lost the Prism with the Adepts in it. The idea of a DT attack now is having to build another Warp Prism. And losing those Adepts as well, that's all harass potential gone. That should trigger Beyond to go.
Yeah.
And it is.
And what do you do from this point in time? Like, Beyond, he's actually got a scan saved up on each base. He's got his third PC ready. It's not yet an orbital, but that will definitely help
Patience
things.
has nothing. Like, this is literally, you know, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. Patience has been pretending to be some great, powerful wizard. In reality, he basically had no units. You know, it's a cardboard set. And Beyond is about to realize that that's the case.
This is a gnarly situation to be in. And what does Patience do? He's not got his third made, so it's not as if he can Maynard all his workers over to his third and they still are kind of useful, so he's still got an economy. No, he's actually going to have to try and contest this, but he's got a much worse army.
Yeah, I mean, the Archons, okay, that's cool and all, but, you know, they're big, bulky units that are going to take a while to really get into the mix, and now they're in there. It's Archons and Stalkers. Those Archons are not enough. No way. Patience gets run over again trying to contest this. The tanks did go down, though, so that does limit the threat for a little while.
But again, those tanks, they're not really a unit that you...
No.
You use them for defense, you know.
It's already a ton of IO.
Yeah, if they could get stuff done, it's cool. But here, he's now in the base. He's got better upgrades. He also saw the Archons, which it's like, why would you make Archons? Like, that's a bit of a weird choice.
He's out. Patience wasn't enough either. Beyond, looking beyond stoppable at the moment.
Wow. It's times like these where... Right? Yeah, it's times like these where I'm wondering, like, who would I actually pick that I'm like, yeah, who can knock off Beyond at this point? And again, like, there's a handful of players that I could think of potentially, but man, the list is very, very small.
It is, yes. And we have a big list of players for this event. This is going to be a very short event if this keeps happening. This is crazy. Like, Beyond we all knew he was good, right? And of course, he is a GSL champion, but this is something else entirely.
It really is. Like, Beyond has not only shown that he can perform when it matters now, but he's shown that he's like a true consistent performer. Like,
yes.
And being consistent is honestly so hard to do, but despite this guy streaming a lot, like, this guy streams a lot, so he shows everything that he does. Like, even before GSL, he was streaming games. Like, people know what he's going to do, they know how he's going to play, but it's not as if he does anything, like, truly gimmicky.
No, he doesn't.
It's just he plays exceptionally solid, yeah. And he has all these attacks where it's like, okay, this is wave 1 of my attack, this is wave 2, this is what's going to happen. But even though people know it's going to happen, they still die to it. And, like, that just shows how well he does what he does.
No doubt about it. Well, we have already seen some great TVT, and I know you love your TVT, Ben. No doubt about it. You're going to like this one, I think. This is a player who puts on some of the most entertaining TVT that I've personally ever seen. I've been a fan of him for years as a direct result. Could pose a serious threat to our king right now. He hails from Team MVP, known as the Towel Terran. It's Gumiho.
I love that he's called the Towel Terran, man. Like, his two nicknames are so cool: the Towel Terran and Gumi God.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's been good for a long time. But I remember when he first came on the scene. I think he was playing for FXO. In fact, I could be very wrong, but I remember he all killed IM.
Yes.
And there was a lot of very solid Terrans at the time. But Gumiho was kind of the first Terran that would multitask roughly 5 drops at a time in 5 different places. And while he didn't micro each one of them perfectly, the fact that he had 5 drops doing something all at the same time was just phenomenal. Like, this guy is a master of making things happen all over the map. But can he get to do it against Bjorn? We'll see. We'll see.
Because Bjorn can do exactly the same thing. Like, he can match him point for point on that. What I like from Gumiho in particular is that he will use some unusual builds. He will go mech in this matchup, and he can catch his opponents off guard. And I think pure technical skill isn't going to be enough to beat someone like Bjorn. It's going to have to be a surprise. It's going to have to be something out of left field that he can't deal with. But can a player with that much experience, who's played against everybody under every circumstance, even be surprised anymore? We're going to find out. To the southeast position here on Frozen Temple, and the Blue Trunks playing Terran. He challenges the throne as Bjorn's reign continues. It is MVP Gumiho versus his opponent to the northwest position. 7 wins in a row. He is your reigning GSL champion and ShoutCraft King, the Red Terran. It's Bjorn.
So far, by the way, we've seen Bjorn in multiple TVTs throughout the ShoutCraft Kings, and he's been opting for this opening every time. So this is, you go gas first, into barracks, into another gas.
Yeah.
Like, this looks exceptionally all in, just from, like, first glance. But this is a very kind of macro-centric opening, but just with a very, very spicy, powerful, explosive start. And TVT is a matchup that's changed significantly. Like, a while ago we were seeing Reaper into 3cc builds, and it seemingly was very safe, but these builds have definitely thrown things out the loop. And the openings are fairly similar. We see that, or when I say fairly similar, both went gas first, but this is where things start to deviate. No second gas for Gumiho. And not opening Reaper is kind of weird. He goes for a Reaper second. So if your opponent, like, this build is made to go, like, your opponent harasses you with a Reaper but also an SCV, but because you have a Reaper and your own Marine, you can kind of hold it off. It also means that his factory isn't so delayed. Like, you see that it's actually kept up with the second, or the double gas Terran. But you also get your Expo out earlier. So Gumiho, he's already said to himself that he's going to play the defender's role. And honestly, we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Bjorn is going to have a quick poke in here, and he's going to try and focus down that SCV, but oh, lovely placed grenade right there. The Marine goes for a ride, takes a little bit of damage. Of course, Marines do not regenerate. Reapers certainly do. Gumiho's going to chase Bjorn back across the map here. CC going down nice and early here for Gumiho, just a little bit ahead of Bjorn.
And look at this, like, his army, like, having a Marine in this mix is obviously worse than having the 2 Reapers, but he's got the position, like, oh, he mismicroed.
Yeah, he did, and that's going to do some damage. Grenade goes off, nice shot there, but Gumiho is unfortunately now outgunned. A Reaper comes in, saves the day at the last moment. Grenade misses, and Gumiho is suddenly able to push that one back, but you're right, little mistake there.
He needs to, like, if he wants to survive with this Reaper, he had to jump up a cliff, like, up to the side there, because the Hellions outrun the Reaper, whereas the Reaper can never catch the other Reaper. So if he wanted to survive with that, beyond that is, he would have had to jump up a cliff. But I guess he thought he might be able to bait and get another Hellion kill if he wanted to. But beyond, he's opting for that build that he used against Reality, where he gets out 4 Marines, a Siege Tank, and a Medevac. I think it's going to be, yeah, it is going to be a Medevac. So the same build for Beyond that he used to absolutely decimate Reality. But so far, Gumiho hasn't taken the early game damage that
he's not.
Reality did. And he's also opting for mech like Reality did, but in a totally different way. We see the second factory coming down too.
That's Gumiho in a nutshell, isn't it? Mech in a totally different way. We see it in this matchup from him time and time again. That's actually what makes him so dangerous, potentially, in this matchup. He can pull out a win against the best Terran in the world. No real doubt about it. So far, so good here for Gumiho. No big losses either side. A very slight lead for Gumiho in terms of resources lost, just 50. And he sees the drop coming in. It's a tank and marine drop, but Gumiho's just going to charge right forward and try and pull it back.
And look, they're both very respectful of one another. Like in the game against Reality, he was like, that's no problem, I'll go across and just deal damage to you. Whereas this game, he knew he didn't have enough at home to not take a lot of damage. But also, different from the Reality game, he didn't have that wall for his main base. So he realized a lot more was exposed potentially. So he really didn't want to take the risk in that game there. But he's also got his follow-up here for pressure. He's got the Banshee with Cloak. So there's no need to necessarily deal damage now when you can deal damage later.
Yeah, I like Gumiho's approach, honestly, because we've seen a couple of players take a few impetuous risks, get a little bit cocky against Bjorn, and Bjorn exploits that completely, and they've fallen over and over and over again in this event as a direct result of that. You always think, hey, I can totally deal with anything Bjorn throws at you, and then Bjorn proves you wrong. He finds that one weakness. So Gumiho so far is playing a great game, and he's got a lot of interesting tech choices. Scan goes off, and
good scan.
Yeah,
but he also saw
bad.
the Banshee. He saw the Banshee position with his 2 Hellions in the north part here, so he knows where that is. He's also got a Cyclone on the map, so if he gets the scan, and so he got the lock on, but not the scan. Yeah.
Didn't use that as of yet. The cloak is now in play. Do we have scan energy available? We actually do not. This is going to do some serious damage.
No, man, this is how Beyond does it, man. Like. And that scan was used aggressively. Like if he delayed that scan by, let's say, 5 seconds, his Hellions would have run into that Banshee and he would have had a scan. And these would have been a good 10 plus SCVs that would not be dead right now. So just one small error, or not even an error, just
it's all it takes.
That didn't go his way.
Yeah, it's all it takes. And Bjorn will surgically do damage. I mean, that's 12 SCVs killed there. And you saw Gumiho floundering in the middle of the map, you know, going into an attack and then realizing, you know, and that indecision cost him. And now Gumiho has a significant economic disadvantage. He's going to have to get damage done here.
And again, this Banshee, 16 SCV kills, 17. We get a triple lock on here, so that Banshee is not long for this world, but 18 SCVs down. So Bjorn knows that, hey, what's the most likely way of my opponent getting back into this game? Well, it's counter, and he played very safely in his main already to deflect this. Yeah,
you know, the Blue Flare Hellions come in, but the positioning isn't good here, and Gumiho is forced back. He does get out of there, which is great. He's going to start to try and apply pressure to the third, and Bjorn is saying, you know what, okay, all right, I'm not going to risk that third out there. I'm going to pull it back.
I just really like the way that Bjorn plays the game. Like, he knows what his opponent's goal is, and he knows his highest priority, which was, hey, to deal economic damage, given that I've already dealt it. So what did he do? He floated over his main. He, like, made a wall that is natural. He's got turrets going up in his natural, even a Cyclone resting at the top there in his main. So he's got all his weak points covered here. Like, this is just textbook, hey, how to play when you're ahead. Just make sure you don't take damage.
Yeah, and everything, for the most part, is covered right now. However, Gumiho is going for the tech route. He's adding on armor, he's adding on the mag field accelerator, he's going to commit to that Cyclone playstyle. And considering the relative success that Innovation had with that, I like this approach here by Gumiho. Bjorn has shown at least some weakness to it, and he's certainly not shown weakness to anything else, so it's a decent way to go.
You know what's also a bit surprising to me? Like, we talk about those scans that Gumiho didn't have, but if we look at the bottom of Gumiho's base too, that's multiple depots with the extra depot, like, supply drop on top of them. So a little bit of missed macro by Gumiho, but also his supply is very inflated. Like, Cyclones are the same supply as a Tempest, being 4. So, and Hellions obviously aren't the strongest supply, but this is whoa. And this random SCV came here to spot that there wasn't much of an army here. He sees that the third's only just going up. Where's the rest of that army? Beyond asked himself.
Idea. And this is a crazy army that's coming in here, like a massive Hellbats, a lot of medevac support, a lot of Cyclone support with Magfield Accelerator about to finish.
But look how in position he is with these Vikings and such. Like, he's seen the army coming at him.
Huge lock-on right here. The Cyclones unload on the Orbital Command Center. It's down to 25% health. Can he take it out? It's going down! And he Hellbat drops right on top of it. I think it's, like, just get out now. You've taken the Command Center. Just go!
What a trade! Like, that was an amazing trade. I really didn't expect the CC to fall that fast, but Bjorn,
Cyclone, good unit.
Yeah, he didn't have his tanks quite in position there, so despite all this praise that I've been giving him, he didn't have his tanks on the edges of these cliffs at all, and the one exposed unit that he had, Gumiho just took full advantage of it.
Get out of there, Gumiho. You don't need to be here. You've done what you set out to do. Get out, defend your third. Don't do something stupid. We've seen what happened to anyone that tried that. against Beyond in the last 7 games. That was a beautiful snipe. Now, just take advantage of that.
Also, I want to point out that Gumi went for the armor upgrade on mech rather than the attack upgrade, which is really, really, really smart. Like, one of the big ways you can play mech is obviously, hey, you go siege tanks, you get the attack upgrades, and you kill it before it even gets to you. But he's obviously gone for this more melee-style approach with lots of Hellbats, keeping the medevacs alive. The damage of Cyclones isn't also affected by damage
here
upgrades.
We go. Look at that. He already set up the flank. A huge Hellbat drop right into the center. Blue Flame Hellions surrounding Beyond's army. Huge damage being inflicted. Is there enough here from Gumiho to stop the remaining bio on the ground, though? It looks like there might not quite be. Gumiho is driven back. He needs to bring tanks back into position to defend against the rest of this. He doesn't want to lose them. Great pickups here by Beyond. Surgical strikes. A quick pickup by Gumiho. The third base now under threat. Beyond with a small army, but that is perhaps enough here for our King Terran, who suddenly finds again another weakness and takes 16 workers for his trouble.
Man.
How?
This is going so well for Beyond every time, and he's just playing a great game, man. An absolute great game. Like, there's the only thing that I can say that he could have potentially done better, and this is just me being highly critical because he's already winning, it's just not letting that third die by having his tanks a little bit more appropriately placed. But yeah, just super clinical by Bjorn. He hasn't really made any major mistake, whereas he's been forcing so many out of his opponents, and it's not because his opponents are bad, like I said earlier, he's just making them make mistakes because of how good he's playing and how well he's predicting them.
Oh, the tank positioning pretty good here for Gumiho, however, getting several shots in. Will there be enough bio on the ground to clean this up? The Hellbats are now gone. It looks like it very well might be. A tank pops out into the wrong part of town right here. The SCVs are now pulled off the line. The Vikings may very well need to land here to keep Gumiho in this game, but a few injured Marauders may very well be all it takes. More economic damage being done here as the King cuts a bloody swath through Gumiho's base. Production is now being camped. Viking drops being used here to try and drive away the rest of this. The cleanup will finally happen, but as the casters always say, at what cost? The economic devastation is real, and Bjorn has a follow-up. More Marauders and Marines streaming across the map.
And look at his upgrades too. He's not halted, and these siege tanks caught
sieging. Oh, GG! Bjorn is 2 maps away from equaling the streak of innovation, and he's done so against all comers. Foreigner, Korean, all races. This is a true GSL champion right here. There is no fluke here in this tournament. Not from Bjorn. He's just that good.
Yeah, there's no fluke. Like, the one time that he's actually looked close to losing was against Innovation, and even that, he turned it around with some massive Doom Drop play and just great execution. Wow, I'm really struggling again. Like, who can beat this man right now? Like, I can't think of anyone.
We do have a lot of great quality players left in this tournament, and we will see what happens after this break, folks. Bjorn currently stands with 8 maps won in a row against some of the best that the world has to offer. He is the GSL champion, and he is proving every single map that he deserves that title. After this break, we'll see if there is anybody who can face him down. You're watching ShoutCraft Kings, sponsored by Blizzard Entertainment. We'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we are right back here on ShoutCraft Kings. Bjorn, GSL champion, ShoutCraft King, reigns with 8 maps to his name. If he has one weakness, it comes in the form of foreign Zerg. So here we go. He can have Nurtio.
This is really cool. Like, Nurtio is absolutely one of the best foreigners that we've had in Legacy of the Void right since the start, actually. So seeing him going up against the current, probably best player in the world is super cool to see. And it's not as if Nurtio's out of shape or anything like that. I mean,
not at all. Quite the opposite.
He just qualified to the Kesper Cup, where it was like 2 qualifiers from all of Europe. So the absolute best players took part. He came second, losing only to Marine Lord, a fellow Terran. But Marine Lord had to pull out some tricks to beat Nurtio, whereas Bjorn he's far more standard than Marine Lord ever was. So I'm looking forward to see this, because Nurtio is as standard as you get as a Zerg player, and he's so good at holding all the stuff that Terran comes with.
Yeah, And he is confident, he's great in his decision-making, and he doesn't leave those little holes for players like Bjorn to exploit. Will it matter? He may make his own hole. Who knows? To the southeast position in the Blue Trunks, playing Terran, ladies and gentlemen, it is Bjorn. Versus his opponent, looking to end the 8-map streak. Perhaps one of the only people who even has a shot at doing so. In the Red Trunks, playing Zerg, it is Nurchio.
One of the absolute best things that you can do as a player is to mute Nurchio in-game, because like these things that he says will affect you more than it does him for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, it's kind of fun, this matchup, because Nurchio has been so dominant on Europe for quite some time, especially against Terrans. Like, just to talk about one matchup in particular, or one LAN in particular, like DreamHack Valencia, he bashed everybody, and then against the best foreign Terran, or one of the best foreign Terrans, Marine Lord, he 4-0'd him. Like, he's so good in this matchup, but every foreigner, in fact, every Terran in the world has pretty much been trying to emulate Bjorn. So going up against the creator of the style that everybody else emulates, like, your practice kind of... It's all been against, like, I don't want to say watered-down versions, but you've been trying to practice against replicas of this guy that you're playing now. So this is when we'll really get to see whether, like, Nurchio's style really holds up against him or not.
That's exactly it. And I'm intrigued to see it. This is a clash of the Titans. These guys do meet up from time to time. Not as often, perhaps, as we would like to see it, simply because Nurchio is European, of course, South Korean. Generally speaking, you don't see those two go up against each other very often, unfortunately, simply due to the way that tournament latency works. But we have them both playing on NA here, so they're both playing under fairly equal environments. A little bit of latency for both of them. Nothing game-crippling, but obviously, as an online player who competes in a lot of online tournaments, that's just something you've got to learn to deal with. You know, it's part of the pro player skill set.
Oh, okay. I'm already looking at this build from Bjorn, and in it, I mean, Nurchio isn't a guy that goes Overlord speed very frequently, and if you're against a guy that is pretty much going to do a 2-Rex build against you, because that's what he does the Bjorn build, because, you know, you're playing Bjorn, he does his own build. But he's actually not opting for that this game. He's going for a much earlier factory, and where's his second barracks? So this is Bjorn actually mixing it up here. And the fact that he's... Okay, so he's not switching around that factory either for the reactor. It looks like he's just going to be doing a Widow Mine drop from this. But a second gas? Like, this is unusual to say the least from Bjorn.
We've already seen some very interesting stuff from Bjorn in this tournament, and he can clearly vary things up. But I just love the amount of precision that was in that initial Reaper push. Great grenade hit, maximizes his damage, gets 3 lings out of it, scouting information, and gets out with the Reaper. So forcing Nurchio to rebuild more lings and be a little bit more defensive. He does, of course, now have his Queen. His Queen's having to be at the front just to get rid of that Reaper. There's now a Hellion backing this up. Are you getting a better impression of this build now from Bjorn as it goes forward? It's still a little... I mean, it does look like it's just a 4 Marine plus, you know, Widow Mine, or 6 Marine plus Widow Mine drop, right?
This is already weird. Like, the tech lab on the barracks... I mean, the tech lab on the factory, like, why? I mean, it doesn't really delay this Widow Mine drop.
Yeah.
The difference, what I'm seeing here between this and a normal build, like... We've seen 3cc builds still opt from this opening, which Marine Lord definitely was doing to Nurchio yesterday, but Nurchio sees that this bunker is at the front and such. Like, he knows now, he must know now that it's not the 2-Rex build.
No.
And he will see this medevac most likely, unless it just goes for a different route.
Yeah, but it's going to avoid... I believe it avoided that Overlord just... You know, I mean, it's a fairly predictable place for the Overlord to be, but...
Okay, so tank and Liberator second. This is why he needed that second gas so early. Now this Reaper and Hellion comes over to the third, but this drop in the natural, this is where the real damage will be done.
Widow Mine's already in place, and a big detonation. That was a huge shot. 7 workers killed. Honestly, like, the Widow Mines have been devastating from Beyond this entire event, and we even have that Hellion there just being a little bit more annoying. Gets one last drone on the way out. Great little trade, you know. It gets out of there with most of his... units, and I think that Widowmine's going to get another shot by the looks of it. That Spore should not be ready in time, and actually Nurchio already knows it and is going to sacrifice a drone to make sure that it doesn't do any more damage.
I'll be sad if it hits this queen and then hits both drones. Okay, it didn't do that. Like,
got the queen and one drone, and now it's going to get cleaned up now that there's a spore crawler there. Not a spore that you really wanted to build, but honestly on King Sejong, especially in that position, it's nice to have it anyway, simply because of the drop potential on the edge of that cliff there. Hello, says the Liberator. You weren't expecting me, were you? Inertia clearly was not. The spore now being moved into position, however, now to get rid of it. It was a little too close.
Yeah, I found this a little bit weird. Like, he went for the Widowmine drop in the natural, so he built a spore to clean it up.
Lovely pick-off. Gets the medevac and a full clear-up here with very minimal damage done.
Yeah, that's super sick, actually. But to place the Widowmine in a base to force the spore to then send the Liberator over to the same base seems a bit...
That has the spore, yeah.
Yeah, it seems a bit like maybe it didn't line up that well. But look at Nurture's creep spread too. Like down this left side even, he's been spreading very well. Those rocks aren't yet dead, but the upgrade, he's got a bit of an upgrade lead. He's also making his 4th super duper early. Drone-wise, he's even thrown down 10 drones all at once. And as we see on the map, like unit-wise, what's out for Beyond? 7 Marines, a tank, and a Liberator. So Nurture's making all the right calls here within regards to like what he's, like how he's droning, and he's even going for a macro hatch here.
Like, this is very heavy wing style.
Super clean by Nurture, super clean.
I think the crushing defeat of that medevac drop over to the 3rd base is what triggered him to just go all on the economic side of things. Like, that was a great catch. It was an uncharacteristic mistake from Beyond to lose those units as efficiently as he did. And now we've got the Liberator going to the back, which really probably should have been the place the first Liberator went. You know, there was no spore back there before. He could have flanked around there. 3rd base would have been harder to get to, but yeah, Beyond starting to show just tiny cracks in his play here against a player who is obviously a bit of a specialist when it comes to killing Korean Terran.
Or just Terrans in general.
Yeah, that's true. Nurchio's dominance in this matchup is well known.
Like, Arthur is such a god, man. Like, his 2-2 is quite a bit ahead of the Terran, which doesn't always happen. It does happen when a Terran opts for, like, tank builds, because that gas is, like, pretty significant. He has killed those rocks in the back of his base, and look at this creep already. Like, he's going to see wherever this move out is. He's also producing a lot of lings now. We have 50 lings already on the field, with 24 coming out too. This creep spread is still going, and he's even putting on pressure at this 3rd.
Man, you didn't expect the Liberator to pop up there, did you? But he's going to have to get out of there since there is a spore. I just like how safe Nurchio's playing. He's not letting there be a single weak point in this base. He doesn't want one of those little devastating attacks that Beyond is so good for, just finding that tiny hole in the defense that he can exploit for huge damage. Nurchio's got, really, as far as I can tell, no weaknesses in his defense at the moment. That's forcing Beyond to play more straight up, and Nurchio is very experienced against this style.
Like, 14 drones have fallen, so he's definitely taken damage, but
yes,
not enough to slow him down. I mean, like, look how many lings
That's
are on the
overwhelming.
field.
I mean, we talked about that macro hatch earlier, and look at how crucial it's ended up being. The huge army of... I mean, Beyond actually is quite low on units at the moment. He doesn't have any tanks left. He just lost them all in that attack.
Right, and so this Liberator's still in the main, still dealing damage. Like, that guy has been a persistent little bugger. And despite...
There's 114 lings on the board!
Yeah, in fact, okay, we might see what Nurture was doing yesterday a lot in the Kesper Cup qualifier, which this will all turn into a lot of Banelings. One of the sad things is this Liberator's messed up his gas income quite a bit, like even on his natural you see that it's not mining gas.
Here it comes, under flank all the way around, overwhelms what's left on the ground, and there is a wave of rolling Banelings that are coming right in here. Lots of lings on the ground. It's just an overwhelming swarm of units. There are a couple of Widowmines, but not that many. What do you reckon? Should he have gone in there, or is it waiting for another wave of Banelings? Seems to be, and his 2-2, of course. That seems to be his strategy. With no tanks on the ground and only 2 Widowmines, this could be disastrous for Beyond.
There's multiple things that go into this. 2-2 is a big deal. He's also getting high if, like, Nurture hasn't reached his final form yet.
No.
Also, Zergs usually struggle to put up a 4th. Nurture's on 5 base pretty safely. Look at this drop in the top 2. Like, he just deflects this so easily. Queen's in perfect position. So, like, does he necessarily need to pile on pressure now? Like, in Nurture's head, he's really far ahead. Like, and rightly so. Why do you need to make a mistake now? Like, force your opponent to attack into you? That's where your units are the fastest and the best. He's getting his Ultralisk Cavern. He's almost maxed on pure Ling Baneling right now.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do is run that force into, say, a Widowmine field, lose the whole thing, and then while you transition to Ultralisk, get bopped. So he's going to try and do some damage. You know, he wants to keep Beyond on his toes, make sure Beyond doesn't explode in terms of tech in bases. But yeah, you're right. There's a risk element to this. And maybe it would make more sense just to sit pretty, wait for an attack to come, deflect it, get your ultras up, and then devastate the Terran.
If there's one thing I'd recommend for Nurture is, like, fix his gases. Oh, yes, fix his gas, but also to get a Spire. Because, like, there's soon going to be Liberators out, and you've not really got anything besides your Queens that can hit air. And if you are dealing with a lot of Liberators, that can get annoying.
Look at this flank. It's from three different sides. Lings come in from everywhere. There is no escape here for the Terran. They're being chased down from all sides. Banelings and everything is surrounded. The Terran just got eaten.
Oh, and look at this. The first thing that Nurture does, reapplies creep, respreads creep. He knows the importance of that. This Widowmine, oh my lord.
That was a big hit. That was a big hit, but most of the Banelings didn't get hit. That, to me, is the key thing, although they did just get hit by the Liberators on the way in here. But Nurture may have an overwhelming force. He's now in the natural. The Banelings detonate, devastating the economy of the Terran player. 30 workers killed in an instant. The Swarm continues to attack. There's still a fairly large army here for the Terran, but economically, Beyond's bleeding badly. His counterattack is doing some damage, but it's being deflected here at the 4th base, and there's Lings everywhere.
And look, this is when Nurture has hit his final form. He has Ultras out on the field. What's his economy at? 71 drones, still on 5 bases. And because his drone count hasn't been massively high, his main, his natural, and his third haven't mined out, so he's still mining totally nicely on all his bases, still dealing damage, and now he's still almost max. Now the Spire comes down. 5 queens at a time too, so he's going to be at 14 queens pretty soon.
The Ultras are here. Chitinous plating not quite done, maybe engaging a little bit too impetuously, but honestly, he has such a lead in terms of his army supply, I don't think it matters. The Lings box them into the corner. The Ultras try and chew through the remaining bio and get most of them, but that's it! Beyond has fallen at the hands again of a foreign Zerg. There's one Achilles heel. It's done. The GSL champion is dead.
You know, there was this moment in time where there was quite a few people saying, like, hey, why don't the Korean Zergs play like the foreign Zergs do? And, you know, everybody was like, well, they don't play against the Korean Terrans, so, like, you know...
So that style clearly won't work against firepower of that magnitude, you know. But...
Blah, 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 but did you see any holes in Nurcho's play that game? Because
I didn't see a single error.
I mean, there wasn't really any mistake in his play. He played flawless, and... That style, and that's on King Sejong, by the way. That's a good map for TVZ, but Nurcho honestly made that look like it was a really damn good map for Zerg, and there's a reason why the 2-Rax Beyond opening is pretty much the go-to in this matchup, because if you do any other opening and it doesn't necessarily do the damage that you want it to, which is you know, immeasurable damage. Like that first Widowmine drop killed 7 drones, then he lost his medevac, so it kind of got put back to even. Then the Liberator did a little bit of damage, sure, poked around a bit, but Nurture's economy just got out of control, and everything he was just ahead on. Better army, better upgrades, better economy, just everything was better, so just damn well played by Nurture, and I have to question Beyond's choice of build there.
Yeah, it was... I
But
really don't know how to explain that. Like, it just... I think it's almost like Beyond expected just to be able to roll over him like every other player he's rolled over today. But there were no holes in the play. The initial push did some damage, certainly, but nowhere near enough. Like, I think once he just took that 4th and he just droned hard, he absorbed that damage. Nurture was able to catch up very quickly.
Right, and... like, it's going to be sad for Terran players, I guess, because, you know, you just see one of the absolute best Terran players go up against one of the absolute best foreign Zerg players, and Beyond looked helpless, but he didn't necessarily do his ultra #1 build, which might have been interesting to see, but Beyond's good enough of a player to know which builds he's good with and which builds he should probably use. Like, you know, he's better to make that decision than any one of us, so the fact that he chose that build and he lost with it against Nurture, I can't even totally credit it on the build. I just think Nurture played phenomenally well.
Yeah, I'd say so. There's no real doubt about that. That was a display of dominance. There's no doubt in my mind that Nurture is capable of beating anyone in the world at the right time, but I think he demonstrates that time and again, especially in this tournament. You know, he's had a lot of success so far fighting against some of the very best. Nurture doesn't get easy matchups in this event. I'm not sure if you've noticed. He does not. He ends up running up against, like, some of the absolute best in the world.
He ran up against the legendary Stefano.
Indeed, in a Zerg versus Zerg, no less. That was a hell of a match, actually, between those two, but he's performed very well up to this point. He's a very consistent player, and to be consistent for that long in this scene is very rare.
I'm super proud of Nurcho, though, that he didn't, like, buckle under pressure or make any kind of questionable mistakes against a player of Beyond's caliber, because it's kind of scary. Like, if you just look at the list of players that Beyond took out, and then you put yourself next, it's kind of like, it's like that scene in Gladiator, you know, where that guy's taken out absolutely everybody, you're next in line to get absolutely mauled, but Nurcho, he seemed very, very calm, and he just played his game, and that's exactly what Nurcho did. Like, he didn't throw in the Infestors like a lot of people do, he just went for Ultra Ling Baneling and just flooded him, and man, he did what every Zerg should do, by the way. Like, he didn't look to deal damage too early, he looked to capitalize on his lead. Like, you were saying, hey, is he waiting for his 2-2? What's he waiting for to try and kill his opponent? There was no reason to go. The ball was in his opponent's court, and Nurcho locked onto that really, really well. Deflected that drop in the top, so that wasn't going to deal damage, and just pounced when he needed to.
Alright. Now, the cool thing about ShoutCraft Kings is, of course, the opportunity to see things that you've never seen before, right? Matchups that just never happen. This, I believe, is a world first. This is a world first matchup. You have never seen this before. This is going to be absolute fire. And this is going to prove, if Nurcho can win this, then this should solidify his reputation in this tournament and basically across all time. Because what I'm going to give you, ladies and gentlemen, is Nurcho versus Maru.
By the way, I've just got to say as well, like, Nurcho, have you seen Nurcho's Twitter just now?
I did not. What have we got on Nurcho's Twitter?
So Nurcho just tweeted 2 minutes ago. So when is the next GSL? Question mark.
That would be. I would love to see him in Korea. I really would. That would be phenomenal if that actually happened.
There's a handful of players that are not only like mechanically very gifted, but they're just very, very good. And Nurcho is top of the list, man. Like, there's of the foreign players, I think there's a top 5 right now, which would be Nurcho, Neeb, Snoot, Marine Lord, and Showtime. But Nurcho is the guy that everybody frickin' fears, man. Like, he is a wrecking ball. And Nurcho against Maru.
Nurcho against Maru. Because we fucking can.
This is one of those moments where I almost want to sit back, just enjoy my cup of tea and just watch it unfold, you know? Like, this is one of those matchups that you can only pray for to watch happen, you know? We are so lucky to be in a time when we can watch Nurcho and Maru go at it in an online league, just randomly on, what day is it? Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a beautiful day.
A glorious Saturday morning here on the east coast of the United States. Balmy evening in South Korea, and of course a lazy afternoon for Nurcho after, you know, just killing the GSL champion without a sweat. And now he gets to fight Jinhae Maru, of all people, which has never happened. This has never happened before. They've never played a single map in the history of this game, and now we get to watch it. To the southeast position, ladies and gentlemen, your current ShoutCraft King, the slayer of the GSL champion, in the red trunks, playing Zerg, this team expert's Nurcho, versus his opponent to the southwest position, an ominous barcode indeed. In the blue trunks, playing Terran, hailing from South Korea, Jinhae, Green Wings, Maru.
And the fact that they haven't played against each other too, this is really, really cool, because I don't think a lot of Koreans often hear about foreigners, you know, and when you're focusing on Pro League and such, which is pretty much Maru's primary focus, I believe. Like, why
Yes.
would you focus on a player that's never going to be in that league?
Yeah.
But Nurcho has obviously heard a lot about Maru, obviously seen a lot of his games. A lot of the people that you study have played Maru and have fallen to Maru, because, let's face it, not a lot of people beat Maru in Pro League.
No.
So going up against a Titan such as Maru is... Man, that's pretty wild. So, like, what kind of build is he going to do? You know that he's got phenomenal micro, and you know when he's on form, he's on form. Like, this is going to be really, really cool to see Nurture against Maru, dude. Like, this is wild.
It's so weird because, you know, while Nurture's of course aware of Maru, he would never prepare for a player like Maru because under no circumstances would he ever run into him. And when you talk about Pro League players, you often talk about guys who it's like, oh wow, they're the best of one players in the world. Yeah, with a week's prep. Like, Maru may have been watching the previous game. It's possible, but he hasn't had a week's prep with coaches and practice partners to figure this one out. And ooh, Maru's legendary micro coming into play there, just razor's edge play so far from him, just keeping that alive. Not quite getting the grenade hit you wanted. Would have loved to have picked off that Ling.
And Nurture is really good micro too, by the way.
Yeah,
keeping the Ling alive. Like, it's not as pivotal on this map, keeping those Lings alive, as it was on King Sejong. Like, on King Sejong, he had to remake them to take down the rocks, you know? Oh, look at this. Maru's
That's
just
a
being
great
nuisance.
move. Yeah, yeah, why not? You've got the range. You know, take a little pot shot across the cliff. That's just a level of precision that we expect to see from a player of that caliber. Going up against the Queen, obviously doesn't work out too well, but he wants to weaken it a little bit. He wants to weaken it for a follow-up push. So what are we seeing out of Maru at the moment in terms of his build? Are we looking for... Looks like it could be Marine Widowmine here. I assume he's going to follow up with the Starport.
I'm going to tell you exactly, TB.
All right.
Just to talk initially, so Nurture kept those 4 Lings alive. With speed, they can deal with the Reaper, so he can get up his 3rd very safely. So that's what we see. But he also saw the Reaper like head back home with the Overlord. But we're actually going to see Maru do the Beyond build.
Right.
So this is where you opt for 2 barracks, you get your Starport, you get your reactor going, you move out with 16 Marines, you try and clear up what creep you can, you deal what damage you can. But then it's what you do after the double drop. There are multiple openings. You see tank follow-ups, you see double drop follow up with another 16 Marines or 14 Marines and a Widowmine, or there's like a single drop while getting up a faster 3rd with a Widowmine and 6 Marines. So there is a lot of stuff that can be done after the initial double drop. But the initial double drop, this is where Nurture really shines, because there's a magic number of Zerglings, Queens, and how you spread your creep, and Nurture's just got it spot on every time. He makes very appropriate reads. In this game, we already see something very different from Nurture, which is a Roach Warren.
Yeah, I noticed that immediately, and I'm thinking, that's not standard Nurture Zerg versus Terran. You know, what do you think of the purpose of that is? Why does he suddenly decide to go for that?
But there is no standard Nurture for CVT. Like, he can throw out the Ling Baneling style, he can throw out this Roach style, he can do absolutely every style. If there's one thing that Nurture does shine on, though, it's deflecting damage and then just barrel rolling you with everything he has. So what we see here, we have the single medevac follow-up with the 6 Marines and the Widowmine afterwards. So that's going to be his follow-up. And he's also only making 1 engineering bay here, so it looks like it's probably going to be a fast 3rd for Maru after this. But
drops are spotted in the center there, just on the edge of the Overlord vision.
Yeah, Nurture's all over. He shouldn't move off creep against this, though. He definitely shouldn't. So.
No, not with those slow roaches. That's not a good idea. I mean, you know, we're talking about Maru here. This guy is a dancer when it comes to his Stim Marines. He can run rings around you. I would not recommend that. He needs all the speed he can get against this. And he's stimming right forward. And he believes he's got it. And he's kind of right. You know, a small amount of roaches against medevac Marines are not that effective. And he's jumping right on top of the Ravager here as well, doing damage and trading out. Who do you think got the better end of that?
Actually, it depends what happens up with the next drop. In fact, where is the next drop? He had a
That's
3rd
a great
medevac.
Question. Yeah,
is it still in the base?
There is a 3rd medevac. Yeah, no, it's actually heading towards the main here. It's going to get spotted, but I don't know if there's anything to actually deal with it, because Mara's deliberately applying pressure here to the Roach and the Ravager. Small number of Marines might just very well be enough, and in he goes. The Widowmine's in place as well. Gets a detonation, doesn't get a great hit, but Maru is looking to do some serious economic damage here, and there's nothing really to deflect it. Nurture is out of position.
You asked me who do I think this is better for? Right now, even though it doesn't look that great for Nurture, and he's made a few errors with like judgment of battling this, I still think it's okay for Nurture. We look at the drone count, and he's still producing a lot of drones. So he
hasn't taken that much damage.
But this Widowmine, if this Widowmine gets another 4 kills, which it definitely easily can,
gets 2, not too bad, and now we see the Spore Crawler going down here.
Okay, so we also see melee upgrades being made. So he's getting Roach speed, melee upgrades, he's getting the armor already. This double drop ran out of units. Oh, he didn't quite get that. Okay, gets that creep tumor. That was nice by Maru.
I like it.
But look at his 3rd. His 3rd was so late behind this. He actually got his 5 barracks down before his 3rd started. So Maru, I feel like Maru thought he did.
The
Widowmine.
That Widowmine was a misfire. That's potentially disastrous. I mean, now is the time to get out. that would have been a lot stronger push if he hadn't eaten the Widow Mine in the center of his own units, but that certainly can happen. And also notice just how quickly Nurture was able to eliminate that Widow Mine like a fraction of a second before it fired. Like, that he could have very easily mistargeted. And I think that's what Maro was trying to do. He was timing that attack to try and get another shot out of that Widow Mine, but he just didn't quite get it. Nurture was on top. But you're right, like, God, this third is so damn late.
It's ridiculously late, which is why it looks so bad for Nurture. You're thinking like, okay, Nurture's taking a lot of damage right now, but this is at a cost, and the cost is, hey, he's trying to deal as much damage as possible. So Nurture may be looking like he's playing sloppy here or what have you, but no, this is not because he's playing bad at all. It's because Maru's having to deal so much damage. But you look at the supplies and the drone counts, Nurture's significantly ahead at this point in time.
Maro missed micros, that single Marauder as well, tries to take out the Roach with it, and I don't think the Roach spotted that 4 Doom drop coming across. It's going to get seen by this Overlord in position here, but there are a few Roaches
Nurture,
now, he knows.
Look at this. He sniffed out something, though.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. He's brought his units back now. That's a lot of bio coming in, but they're not all that well upgraded, and there is a shot into the center here. There may very well be enough Roaches to push this back. The Marauder count is pretty good, but it's not good enough, and it looks like this is going to get cleared up without too much of a problem.
And, you know, throughout all of this, the third has still not landed for Maru.
No, it hasn't.
And
that's crazy.
Look how many mules he's got saved up on his main, too. On his main, plus his natural, he's got 4 or 3 mules to land. On his third, he's also got mules to land. That Overlord is just laying poop at the third, too.
Yeah, that's going to delay that even more, you know.
Superior upgrades coming in for Nurture, too. Plus 2 weapons. He's getting his, plus 2 armor. And he's also getting his hive. Like,
he's building infestors. There's quite a few of them, too. He's not joking around with this.
Certainly not. And will his bio land on a... Oh, just get 1 medevac. And takes out this... In fact, it's kind of an even trade here. But Roaches aren't really a unit that he wants too many of late game. He just wants the Ravagers.
Although I will say, like, you've got to look at, like, the lack of upgrades here from the Terran. It's definitely not going to help. Like, he hasn't even started 2-2 here. His armory just began 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, and whenever a Zerg starts making infestors, that's because he's pretty comfortable. Like, he's going to start saving up the energy on those. It's not as if they spawn with Fungal, unless you get the upgrade, but no Zergs really invest in that upgrade, at least not early on. It's not worthwhile. It's better to just get another Infestor out. But
nice pick off there for Mari. Picks off the Infestor, and now backs off to this Widow Mine position, hoping to get a good lucky shot off. But Nurture's not making any mistakes in that regard, and it's just slowly taking forward. He's still going for that Roach, Ravager, Infestor approach, but he is getting the melee upgrade. So, you know, it does indicate that later on he wants to go to Ultra.
It's going to be a switch to Ultras. Ooh,
you almost got that shot off.
Well, he got the Widow Mine with the Fungal, and he actually got the Medevac too, so nice little trades for Nurture, and also upgrade-wise, 2-2, like, he's got his +2 armor, he's also got his Ultralisk Cavern on the way, and this creep spread, this is one thing, like, he's been under 5 barracks pressure before the third, and look at his creep spread still.
Still
like,
good, yeah. And it has to be. I mean, you can't play Roach style without creep spread like this against Maru's drops, like, because he's dropping 2-3 places at once all the time. So you have to have that, otherwise you'll get pulled apart. And that's what Maru's trying to do. He's trying to out-multitask Nurture. But Nurture is deflecting every one of these attacks really, really well. Again, the full Marauder drop comes in. I'm surprised he's not focusing the hatchery. He needs to get the hell out of there, otherwise he's going to eat that. Oh, and he can't get out because he loses the medevac in the process. Nurture's defense has just been so good this entire game.
I feel that if Maru had any idea who he was up against, he would have not have played into his hands, because if there's anything...
Oh, the Fungal as well! This is not going to escape!
Man.
Mara's fallen to pieces right now. Nurture is now looking at a much more dominant position.
Oh, that focus fire on the medevac almost got that medevac too. But what can you do to a guy that has an impenetrable defense, which Nurture has shown this game? Like, resources lost it's actually got to a point where Maru's lost more than Nurture.
Yeah, and bear in mind, Maru's been the aggressive player. He's been dropping an awful lot, you know, and he needed to do the damage, and he hasn't, you know. Comfortable 70 drone, 4 base Zerg with good creep spread.
And do you know what's funny? What's funny about this situation too? So Maru is still kind of establishing himself. He's getting up to 8 barracks. He's still establishing to try and deal with this, like, Roach, Ravager, Infestor composition. But what's next in line is just Mass Lings, Ultras with 3-3 upgrades. He has 3-3 on the way, and that +2 armor is not even halfway done for Maru. So he's incredibly far ahead. And now Maru is even getting tanks. So Maru's getting ready to play super defensive, but I feel it's it's too little too late. Like, he hasn't done the damage he really needed to do.
He committed
His
a
opponent's
lot
on
to that
5
early
bases.
aggression. So much to the early aggression, but didn't get the reward for it.
By the one thing, TotalBiscuit, look at all the extra bases of Maru, and look what is there. There's an Overlord pooping on absolutely every base.
Nice.
Like, Nurcho, if you look at Nurcho's vision, he sees everything, man. There is not anything that can come at him that will surprise him at all. He's got chitinous now.
Yeah, he's got chitinous before +2 armor. I mean, this attack's going to hit before +2 Terran armor is done. I'm going to see melting Terran in my near future. This is what's going to happen here. And the Widowmine goes off and doesn't, unfortunately, hit what it needs to. This is a tough choke to fight into. But, I mean, I think maybe, especially with Fungals in the mix, he might be able to do it anyway. Catches half the army out of position. The tank is caught out of position as well. And the Corrosive Bile rains down on top of the Terran player. What is going to stop this many Ultras? Maru is cornered at the moment, and he is actually counterattacking, taking out the 5th base. But this 3rd base could be compromised. Maru's movement is excellent. He's choking down these Ultralisks into a great position, but there's going to be severe economic damage done in payment for that. 26 workers killed in the process. There's a pick up and go. The 3rd base is now overrun at this point as a reasonably large Terran harassment force takes out the 4th base and the 5th. I mean, Maru's army's still reasonably large, but its economy's devastated.
I tell you what, that was a really nice counter drop by Maru, but he even takes out this building base too. But your economy's been more decimated than your opponent's. And
yes.
Nurcho, he's just remaxing on a much better army than he had before. Like, this is Massling with 3/3 plus Ultras. They have Adrenal Glands, the Lings, and he's just getting the Ravagers now. So he got rid of all those shitty Roaches that he didn't want in the first place. He's lost his Infestors, which kind of sucks. But honestly, with the amount of damage he's done, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Here we go. Another big detonation. That was a nice one, actually. Took out a lot of Zerglings. Needs to bring the Liberators into play, and does. And there is actually a lack of anti-air. Only a few Ravagers, and smart by Maru to focus them down here as well. And Nurchio, he does take out 10 more workers from that, you know? The economy of the Terran is gone. Like, he can just bleed him out from this point. The Liberators are going to be a problem, but there is a Spire on the way. Yeah,
and once Corruptors come out, unless you have a huge amount of Liberators with significantly better upgrades in the air, you're not going to be able to deal with those Corruptors. And, I mean, even if you want to deal... Oh, this is kind of ballsy by Nurcho. Oh,
Liberators. Perfect shot. Slam dunk. 2 Liberators down immediately. Like, if he hadn't killed those Liberators, then that would have been a terrible fight there for Nurcho, but he did. And that's most of the anti-Ultralisk gone now. There's 2 more on the way, but they're not quite done yet. And this might be like the last gasp of Maru because his economy is in such a shambles.
And it's been in shambles the whole game. I mean, he really tried to kill Nurture before things got going. And unfortunately for him, it was the massive wrong call because A, the map's too big for that. And B, you're against Nurchio. Nurchio doesn't just, like, fall down and die because you harassed him a little bit more than he's used to.
Not in the slightest. Oh, lovely. Oh, God, what a shot. He takes the Liberators and the Widowmines out with that Corrosive Bile. Jesus, like he's basically eliminating every Ultralisk threat he can here, and efficiently, too.
I like the fact that Maru did something, because, you know, let's be fair, foreigners in the past haven't deserved a lot of respect. Like, if you do put pressure on them that they're not used to, they tend to fall over, right? But
they do, yeah.
Nurcho is not that guy. He is not that foreigner.
No. Never has been, honestly. You know.
No. Like, there was a period of time where Nurchio got to the grand finals of Gamescom Cologne against, like, MVP, you know? And there was times where he won Home Story Cup because he 3-0'd, like, MC and 4-0'd Yonghua when he was good and stuff. Like, he's never been that guy that buckled under pressure, especially, like, against aggression in-game. Like, Nurcho's fundamental weakness has been that he tries to end games too quick because he knows he's that good that he should be able to.
He may have just... I think Maru just overextended, and I think Nurchio just realized that this is the time to go. He cracks the Liberators, he kills the tank, he catches the Marauders out of position, and Maru in full-on retreat here as he loses unit after unit that is very difficult to replace from his current economic position. And bear in mind, he still hasn't been able to move to even take another fresh base. You know, the mining is disastrous here for Maru. He only has that one base that's even functional.
This is this is Maru making things happen, trying to make things happen,
yeah,
as possible. Like picking off Ultras here and there, doing what he can.
It's not enough. It's absolutely not enough. The army's bled off now. I mean, we've got almost triple the size army here for the Zerg player, and like no economic way out for Maru. Once he's mined out in this third, where on earth does he even go? It was a
And
great counterplay to kill both of those bases off, but they've been re-established now. Oh God, insult to injury. GG. The first and possibly only matchup between Nurchio and Maru ends in a win for Nurchio. He just killed two of the best Terran in the world.
And quite handily, too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that wasn't close.
No.
It was that early aggression, that constant pressure. Against any other player, probably would have been the right call, right? Because you were talking earlier about the ability of, say, foreign players to deal with just the sort of Korean speed and the early game pressure and being able to handle that. He did. I mean, Nurchio's one of the only ones that can. And then Mara didn't have the economy to back that up. Mara didn't have the tech to back that up.
No. And, you know, this is why people have been talking and praising these foreign Zergs, because, like, Nurchio isn't the only one that's capable of beating really good Terrans. Like, he's shown now two very, very different styles in which he's taken down two of the absolute best Terrans in the world with. Like, one was this Massling Bane Flood on a map that's not particularly good for Zerg, but he decimated beyond the GSL champion. Then he played on New Getty, which is a good map for Zerg. Like, it's very good for Zerg, in fact, but then he showed this Roach style that he opened up with, and neither of those Terrans stood a chance against him, trying very different things. So it's beautiful to see that Nurchio is shining here when it really matters.
Yep. Wow, we could have a legendary run here, considering who he's already beaten. It's going to be tricky for at least the Terran to take him out. Like, I feel like you gotta send another race up against Nurchio right now to have a shot.
I'm just wondering who you're picking to try and take him on.
Well, this is going to be an interesting pick. This is the first time this player has played in this tournament, which is why I'm very interested to see how he does.